Hey, what I found out is we can't hold the mics like this. We have to hold them down like this.
Why?
Because it caught us breathing a lot last time.
Oh, it did.
Yeah. So we gotta hold them down like this. It'd be weird. Welcome back to the Felt for the Jay and Sierra Poker Show. So today we're doing something a little different. We're going to visit Carrot Corner.
Okay.
So Carrot Corner, he is a professional poker player / coach, but he does not like vlog hands. Does that make sense? Like he doesn't go to the table and vlog hands. He is more, his videos are more coaching and stuff. So today he is walking us through a hand that I think is super interesting.
Okay.
And he's got some good math and everything behind the way he plays the hand. And so I thought I would try to distill it down for us dumb people, what he's trying to say.
Not good at math.
Not good at it. So I've got the hand and then I've got his reasoning behind it. Okay. Should be interesting because it's a cool spot to be in, and it's an unconventional approach. I think unconventional is the word I would use.
The hand is?
Yeah, the hand, he takes an unconventional approach to the hand, but then after he explains it, I'm like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, so, yeah. So we're going to talk about that hand today and try to make us dumb people understand it.
Okay.
Are you ready? All right. Here we go. Welcome back. All right. So as you can see, he is mainly an online player, not a live player. I want to talk quickly. There's big differences in that, right? The principles and stuff kind of stay the same, but there's a lot of difference between live and online play. So he's an online player. So here we are. We are in bad position here. We're going to be first to act here with our pocket sixes.
I like the logo. Anyways.
What are your thoughts here with
what pocket? Position? Okay, you're.
You can see we are under the gun.
Under the gun.
You got the small blind, big blind there, so we're going to be first to act.
You raise it, but a small raise.
I'm okay with all three options.
Okay.
I'm okay with a fold. Okay. I'm okay with just a limp.
Oh yeah,
I'm okay with a raise.
Yeah.
So yeah, all three options are on the table here, and the differences which would make me lean one way or another are table dynamics. If the table is super tight and they're not playing a lot of hands, I would definitely be raising this hand, right? Because I know I could probably have the advantage post flop with it. But the table is super aggressive, and I know most likely I'm going to get 3-bet. I would probably either fold or just limp, expecting to call a raise with this hand.
Yeah.
Right. So those are your options. So I'm good with all three options here.
Because I was thinking the same thing, like limp, and if you get raised, just call.
Yeah. Yeah. Mainly.
And also player dependent on.
Yeah. Table dependent on how you hear here. So. We're going to, in this hand, we're going to take the raise approach, like you said. So we're going to do a small raise here. All right. So we do he just doubles the blind. So like if we're playing 5-10, he just made it $20.
Yeah.
So we get one caller.
That's what I would do.
Folds back around. Okay. All right. There's a flop. 10-8-8. All right. What are we doing with our sixes here?
I want to check it right now because I'm in just such a bad position, and then I would check call.
Beautiful play, babe. Beautiful play. You did not fall into the C-trap bet there.
Yeah.
That's what I thought you were going to do, but yeah, I think because exactly what you said, we're out of position. We're going to check this. We would check aces, we would check 10s, we would check pocket 8s. We're going to check 6s here just because we're out of position.
Yeah.
Because I think we're going to get information about our opponent here by checking. If we bet, 2 or 3 big blinds, he's gonna call with anything,
Mhm.
right? So we really don't get anything. So
Mhm.
he could stab here with overcards and we're getting value, or he could check and he's just got, deuce three or something,
Okay.
So we're gonna find out more. Beautiful play right there, and I think he agrees with us. He is going to check, and our opponent is going to bet almost two big blinds into five. Do you understand the big blind concept
Yes.
when I say big blinds?
Mhm.
So it doesn't matter what stakes you're playing.
Mhm.
So you're playing 5-10.
Mhm.
Each big blind is $10.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know that. Yeah.
Okay. So we bet two big blinds basically into 5.5 big blinds. What's your play here
Call.
with sixes? I think I just call too.
Mhm.
Nothing crazy here to analyze. We're ahead of a lot of his hands, and we're going to see what happens on the turn. All right, so now the king of diamonds comes on the turn, and this is where it gets interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so what do we do here now with our sixes? Because let's think about the whole hand.
Mhm.
And the king comes, so now what do we do?
We're gonna lead out,
Okay.
opposing the what last week's episode, when something
Yeah, you
came,
remember that
and you're
ace came last
yeah,
week,
and it was
and-
like flashing. I totally have an ace, but I am going to rep a king here.
Okay, so you're going to lead out. We got 9 big blinds in there. How much you going to lead?
Half pot there.
Half pot on the king.
Maybe a
And-
little bit more than that. Maybe a little bit more.
And I don't think you're wrong.
Okay.
If you did that, you would get a lot of hands to fold, 7s, 8s, 10 jack, 3s. You get a,
And then my opponent's gonna think I'm either have a king or a diamond draw.
you've either
Yeah.
got a king or a diamond draw. So even if he does, well, we'll talk in the river, but if he
Mhm.
does, you got to have a plan, right?
Mhm.
If he calls you, what's your plan on the river
Mhm.
there?
Mhm.
So that's the argument to be made for betting. I think there's also an argument to be made for checking to see what he does,
Okay.
right? And we can narrow his range a little bit more if he continues to fire for what bet
Okay.
size, right? So if we checked and he fired the flop, if he continues to fire, okay, maybe he's got a stronger hand than we thought he had, because he also knows that king is good for
Mhm.
us. So if he checks, that may pretty much cap him at one pair
Mhm.
type of hand, right? So that's the argument made for checking. I think we're probably 60% checking, 40% betting, depending on the player, probably a little bit there. So I don't think you're wrong at all. But just having a plan on the river,
Yes.
you get called,
Yes.
right? So
I
let's
don't
see.
know the plan yet.
We'll see what happens. Yeah, you got to see what he does, right, to get
Yeah.
the plan. All right, so he checks,
Oh,
and you see
okay.
our villain checked. All right,
Okay.
so check. All right, so that gives us some information there. Either the villain's that strong and
Mhm.
wants us to hit something
Mhm.
to bet. He's got an 8 or pocket 10s or something like that. Or he's a little nervous now that the king came, right? So now the 3 of spades on the river. What are we doing here? We got 9 big blinds in the middle.
Mhm. See, I haven't thought of the plan yet.
Well, now the plan's into action.
Mhm.
So let's just say for your scenario, you said you'd bet the king, right? So
Mhm.
let's just say you bet 4 or 5 big blinds. He calls, so that basically doubles the pot. 20 big blinds in there. So what would you do if he called your bet?
What would I do if he called my bet?
Yeah, if you said you would bet the king,
Mhm.
but you got to have a plan on
Yeah.
the river here if he called, because then pretty sure you may or may not have the best hand there.
Right,
So
right.
what are we gonna do here? Now that the total brick 3 of spades comes.
Oh, I'm gonna do what I always like to do on the river.
What?
The check raise. If he bets. Oh, it's such an amateur play.
That's not a great play.
That's not a great play.
Because
but-
what's he gonna bet?
yeah.
What's he gonna bet? He showed weakness
He showed
when
weakness.
the king came. So why this is not
Yeah.
going to open you up to a check raise because he's going to check any pocket sevens,
Yeah.
10 jack. He's going to check and you're just going to lose.
Yeah.
So I would say that's the last of your plays here.
Well, that's my play. So
Well, that's your play.
don't
That's your
change
play.
my mind right now. I told you what I was going to do.
All right. So you would check. I guarantee he'd probably check back. And
Okay.
We
And
may
we
end up
lose
losing
the-
that.
okay.
So another option that you could run through.
Again, you've
is you
seen
have-
this hand, so
I've seen the hand, but I'm just giving you an option here. Because he basically capped his range to a one pair type of hand
Mhm.
by checking the turn, I think we could fold out a lot of his hands that beat us
okay.
by continuing to rep the king,
Mm-hmm.
right? In your scenario where you bet the king.
Mhm.
So you got to continue repping
Yeah.
it, right?
Okay.
So if in your scenario you bet 5, there'd be 20 big blinds.
And then
Bet,
just rep
bet
the king
15,
on the river.
20 big
Yeah.
blinds on the
Okay.
river, right? Because then there's no doubt. Like,
Mhm.
guess I got to fold
Put
my
pressure
sevens
on
here.
them?
Yeah,
Okay.
fold it, right? So I think you got to tell your story there. If
Mhm.
you now, I mean, if for whatever reason he did bet, remember last week we talked. People don't bluff the river. a lot.
Yeah.
So if he bet the river in this spot, he may have something pretty good. You don't want to check raise with pocket sixes, right? He may have that pocket tens or 8-9 or something
Yeah.
like that, where he's looking to get some money into it. So it'd be a scary check raise, because I feel like on the river he's betting some value there. He's
Okay.
not just betting a 10 or something that he would fold out to an all in. But that's an option. So he goes.
So what do you do there? What would you have checked the turn as well, like he did?
You know, I think I probably take your line more than I take his line of
Mhm.
checking. Because I'm an amateur player.
Mhm.
He gives reasons to check the king there that are probably better than my reasons for betting
Yeah,
the king.
because you're isolating
But-
like the hands.
Because
You're narrowing
yeah,
down the
because
range.
I'm, you know, because that king's good for me. I have
Mhm.
ace king, I have king queen, I have
Mhm.
all those hands. I'm gonna bet it to tell him I have a king,
Mhm.
and then see what he does there. But I like his reasoning for checking the king because he has a plan overall,
Okay.
right? He has a plan for the river, given a blank river. His plan would change if it was a not so blank river like a diamond or an ace or something like that. That's not necessarily a blank. So he had a plan for this. So he checked the king with the plan, looking to see what he would do if he would bet big or check or whatever. And that formed his plan for the river. So he did check. So that gave him the full green light that he does not have a very strong hand. And so
Okay.
we'll see. This is his weird play here that is unconventional, I would say, that I would not even think of doing. All right. Do we see what just
Oh
happened
yeah,
right
he
there?
overbet. Went all
He
in.
almost bet 2x the pot.
Mhm.
That's not even on my radar.
Yeah.
Right? So let's just say there's $90 in there. He basically bet $160, $170 into that pot. That's a
That's a lot.
play. That's a play right there. And I think it's a little genius, right? Because
I feel like I've seen this overbet way too many times, but let's see what happens.
well, it's genius because let's put yourself in the other guy's shoes, right? Let's just say you had a 10, right? You have 10 jack. If he bet half pot, 5 big blinds, you may be tempted to just screw it,
Yeah.
kind of call with a 10, right? But with almost 17 big blinds, you're not making any screw it calls.
Yeah, it just feels smells like a bluff sometimes.
Oof. Okay. So yeah, I mean, sometimes it does. And I'll show you some math here he does at the end to talk to your point there. All right. So yeah, that's an unconventional play, I would say. I may add this into my repertoire a little bit. The 2x over bet bluff there. And the guy does end up folding here. And he went on to say like, oh, he had pocket nines, pocket sevens, something like that, and he got this through. Okay, so now we've got a little math here that he's broken down for us of why this is a better bet here. All right, so I know this is going to be complicated, so I'm going to try to talk simplistic here. So he's saying if I just check the river like you were going to do, and he checks back, I'm going to win about 30% of the time, right? He says 70% of the time, they're going to have a better hand. I'm going to win 30% of the time, right? So I have of this pot, which is 9.14 big blinds, I'm going to win about 3 big blinds by checking. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So on the reverse side of that, making that huge bet that he just made, he's going to win it about 80% of the time, right? Because only 20% of the time, they're going to have a hand worth calling, an 8 or pocket 10s or quads or something like that. So only 20% of the time, they're going to have a hand worth calling, which means just in that scenario, now you've bumped your win rate to 80%, means you're going to win 7 big blinds on this on this nine big blind pot. So with that big bet as a bluff, you're going to win 80% of the time, but that means you're going to get called 20% of the time, and you're going to lose 17 big blinds 20% of the time. But if you add those two numbers together, how much fold you get versus how many times people calls, you're actually winning 4 big blinds versus just checking and only winning 2.5 big blinds. So that's why his argument is the big bluff on the river. Yeah, you're going to get called sometimes, but in the long run, you're going to win more money than you lose.
And especially I could put that into my play because a lot of women are known as tighter players and they don't bluff as often. So I think, once you set your reputation at the table, then you can. Oh yeah. You can do stuff like this.
Yeah, but you could 100%, and people are going to fold to you quite often. Yeah. Especially if you're showing some good hands.
And if I show good
people
hands.
may even fold a king there to you if you've played tight, showed some good hands.
Oh, and if you're a newer player, please show your hand because. There's been a time or two where I folded. I've mucked it, right? Like I've mucked a winner. So the dealer shows that you're the winner, even if you didn't think. And I've shown, and I thought I lost, and I actually won the hand. So, show in the beginning, and then once you get more comfortable, you can not show. I like this.
I like it too. Interesting take from Carrot Corner. I started watching some of his vids. What am I, 10? Videos. And I like his perspective on poker and stuff. And I'm going to try to start incorporating some of that, see if it works for me.
Cool.
Until I start losing these big, huge raises
then we're
on the river, then I'm going to blame you for all my losses. But cool hand I thought, because I would definitely check that on the river, just hoping my 6s were good, hoping he checks back, but I may try something like this next time. So all right, so that's it from the virtual felt today.
I would have still check raised,
but check raising implies they have to bet.
That's true,
and they're not going to bet all the time there unless they have a good value hand, right? That's a problem.
It could work.
Good. So that's the virtual felt today.
Okay.
She's been back there. Didn't even notice. Didn't even see her back there. All right. Till next week. We'll see ya.
Bye.